For my artifact assignment, I did the Morrill Act of 1862. Excuse me. So the Morrill Act was passed on July 2nd, 1862. It was a land grant act that used the sale or development of government land to help farmers and other working class people get a higher education because they were often unable to get this higher education due to their social status and financial income. So the land used for these land grant acts was tribal land, and it was about 10 million acres, a little bit more actually. And this was both land and money was given to different universities to achieve this. There was a second Morrill Act in 1890. This was actually intended for African Americans and help them have access to higher education. So most of the available aid and assistance for people to achieve higher education wasn't available for African Americans. So this was specifically so they were not excluded for once, and it was actually targeted at the southern states because there was still a lot of segregation and a lot of racism going on from the what you would consider the Confederate states of the South still. So this land grant act was actually supposed to help kind of change that and give Black people a way to have access to higher education and mend that racism and turmoil that was still going on. It was a little bit different than the original act also because only money was given to institutions and not land. Like I said, it helped working class people gain higher education. And with African Americans, it was given only to institutions that did not segregate, obviously, or were primarily Black institutions, which we now know as HBCUs. And here I have a map of all of the land grant colleges and universities. So the both the red dot and the star were the Morrill Act land grants, and as you can see, they're all over the United States, north, south, east, and west. There's universities everywhere that receive this to this day. So currently 19 universities receive grants from the second Morrill Act. They receive it every year. It was not just a one-time thing in 1890. And the idea with this act, with the grant, was that it went to primarily agricultural and engineering programs and mechanical programs was what they were considered at the time. This was because it was aimed at working class people, so it would help them achieve their career that they were already doing just at a higher level and get higher education about that career path. And nowadays is actually much needed because there's a big hole in education for specifically agricultural higher education learning and degrees. So today, currently 70 institutions receive the Morrill grant. And like I said, it is intended to be used for the instruction of students in agricultural and mechanical programs. Today, they would call them STEAM programs: science, technology, engineering, agricultural, and mechanical programs. And over the years, it has changed. Certain universities received it and got it taken away because they weren't deemed to have been using the money specifically for agricultural mechanical needs. Not anything illegal or malicious, just that the USDA, who is in charge of land grant acts, thought it would be better used other places. But now it's at 70 universities, many of which are public, and some very notable ones like University of Michigan. There is actually Cornell receives it, and some other Ivy League and very notable universities receive this and use it for, like I said, these specific agricultural programs. And the 70 includes the 19 HBCUs that also receive it. As I listed, you have, some well-known ones like Tuskegee University, Alabama A&M. For people who live around here in Maryland, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Um, so it's used a little bit differently. It has the guidelines as I mentioned for um, agricultural and mechanical um, programs, and it's supposed to be used to do the education. So Alabama A&M actually is a perfect example of what it should be used for. Instruction in practical and mechanical subjects as engineering, agriculture, and architecture. That's exactly what it's supposed to be used for. Others, it actually really helped forward certain universities as well, like Kentucky State University. It helped them add departments like the domestic economy department, agricultural mechanics. So not only does it help them further education with students, it also helps them provide that these majors and these departments that they wouldn't have had without this funding. And this is used for Kentucky State. They created this a long time ago, but they still continue, like I said, to get the money to continue to use to continue to educate people that would like to further their career in agricultural and STEAM programs. So my presentation is about the Morrill Grant, obviously, but it's kind of gone farther than that. It's inspired other grants and other um, the USDA to do other things. So the USDA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, who's in charge of these grants, specifically that department, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture specifically, they gave $4.8 million in total um, to different universities, calling the USDA Centers of Excellence grant. And this was given to universities deemed to having excellent programs and doing exactly what the Morrill Grant was intended for, which is furthering the education in agricultural and STEAM programs. So this was given to Tuskegee University, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and North Carolina A&T, all receiving $1.6 million. So this is hopefully so they can continue to further and better those programs, especially since a lot of the universities that receive this grant are the leading universities for these types of programs. You don't see agriculture. You see, obviously, you see mechanical engineering and other engineering at a lot of colleges, but you don't see too much agricultural programs at every college. So it's really to help further these universities and help them give the best education to this smaller area of and much needed area of higher education. And I used a bunch of different sources. A lot of universities post very, very thorough and deep history about their use of the Morrill Grant, like Tuskegee University, like University of Ohio, excuse me. They take a lot of pride in being part of this grant, and it is a very big deal to them. They are very proud to be able to further young people's educations in these programs and provide much needed to educate people and help them provide a much needed career paths in the United States. And that's my presentation. Thank you.